And if we get a Curtis captaincy or vice captaincy, we have Safi as the first or second lady of Liverpool. And what more
And
could we
Gigi
want?
can be the unofficial mascot.
I think
Can
we'd
you
see a lot
imagine?
more matchas at the Access Center training coffee bar. I think we're missing the matcha demographic there. Safi would fix that.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Liverpool Girlies Podcast, a place where we welcome anyone who loves to obsess over Liverpool FC. My name is Annika, and I'm here with Stephanie and Molly-Ann. We're three friends who share a love of Liverpool and dream of one day having a cup of coffee at the AXA Training Center coffee bar. How are you guys doing? Welcome back. Another week of Liverpool is behind us.
It's so nice to just have one match to talk about. Like giving ourselves a break from the constant emotional roller coaster of the 25-26 season I was very grateful to just like actually relax and not have to worry about it. And I'm grateful that the guys got an entire week off. My cortisol levels and my nervous system are currently still coming down from this Tottenham match. But other than that, we're feeling good vibes. Great content we saw on the internet from Liverpool. Just overall pretty decent.
I feel like we needed the rest leading up to the Tottenham match as much as the players needed it. And then knowing how it ended, I'm thankful, like Stephanie, that we had one match kind of get through this week. Very fun, exciting. Tottenham Liverpool continues to not disappoint.
Absolutely. Yeah, it does feel like we had just enough steam to go in, get those 3 points from Tottenham, and we will need the next week to recover as well.
We did say last week on this podcast, it was going to be dramatic and memorable. And boy, it showed up and showed out, but we will get into that.
I did enjoy the time that we had to watch some off the pitch content. It was fun to catch up a little bit more. We've had so many matches close together that it's like, okay, match day. And seeing them train, have a little bit of breaks, and the extra Christmas content they put out. So I really enjoyed getting to hear from the different players.
I wonder what it's like for the social media team and just the content team period. I wonder if they're like, oh, yay, it's a week that we get to just come up with some more things, and the guys are going to be around a little bit more. Like, what stories can we share? I really appreciate that they got to take some time to showcase Hugo, because he's just been a surprise to everyone of how well he's done this season, and he really deserves to kind of get the light shone on him a little bit. I saw a stat today that he and Mo were tied for the best start to their Liverpool career of 7 goals in the first 10 games of their start for the team. And that's like second best out of all time. He's incredible. And I'm glad that he got the time to kind of tell a little bit more of his story.
Getting to hear the background to the Finsta was a personal highlight.
Yes.
And I
agree.
love that he talked about, like, he obviously has this like professional side that he puts out online as a footballer, but that he wants people to know like his personality, to know a little bit more about him. And so just to hear him be like, I'm really intentional with like the music I'm putting on there and I'm sharing, and you know, like that is my side. Felt peak Gen Z, like in the cutest way. And I just loved, I don't know, I took his Finsta as like silly goofy, which it is, but just like how much thought he puts into all the little details of it was really fun little insight to get.
Speaking of his music choices, Annika, he did a photo dump today from the Tottenham match. What song did he choose, Annika?
You know, I'm not quite sure what the title is, but the chorus did have "Shake Your Butt." But.
So it's confirmed that we did see
Yes.
Hugo Ekitike's butt. Okay, thank you. I was like, is this what's happening?
It is confirmed by Hugo Ekitike that definitely was intentional. And I saw a clip of like everyone celebrating after that goal, and Curtis was in front of Hugo, went behind Hugo's, like literally looks like he's hugging him. He went behind his back and pulled up Hugo's pants for him. And I'm like, that is peak Curtis and Hugo behavior, pretty much. Like, respect the badge, man. Pull up your pants.
The transformation that Curtis Jones has gone through of becoming more and more serious throughout his course as a Liverpool player is so fun to watch. Speaking of which, we saw the Curtis Jones interview this week. that was such a great interview. I really enjoyed hearing him talk about his play, but also what's going on with the team and just continuing to see that growth in him and his mentality. What did you guys think?
Yeah, this was one of the things I was excited to bring up and talk about this week. Pre-Sky Sports interview, because he gave a couple different interviews this week. I was like, are we seeing a Curtis Jones campaign for Liverpool? I will say vice captain, because we know amongst the three of us, we envision a Dominic Soboslai captaincy. But I was like, Curtis Jones is giving captain. He is like presenting himself so well. The club's putting him in these like really important interviews. And so I was like, oh, I want to get y'all's thoughts on that. And then in the Sky Sports interview, I mean, he just comes out and says like, yeah, my goal is to be here for life. I want to be a Steven Gerrard. I want to captain this team. And so I was like, okay, mind connection with Curtis Jones going on right now. But I love that. I love seeing I think, again, we have to give the props to Gigi. So much growth in this man since he had a baby.
Yes. And it's so interesting because even this week, Arne said, this is the most consistent I've seen Curtis show up since Arne started with the team. Curtis last season was phenomenal. Like the moment he became a dad, we saw his performance go up. And especially since the last few weeks, I mean, we saw him come out and be really emotional and show a lot of opinions and how disappointed he was with how his team is doing. And that was great. He was a perfect person to be like, no, this is unacceptable. Between that interview and all the different ways that he's been showing up, he's really settling into his leadership and his confidence. And that's being shown up on the pitch as well, with how consistent he's being and how he's always been confident in the ball, like on the ball. Mm-hmm. But the way that he's showing up off the ball now is really impressive and pretty consistent. And so it's just really exciting to see him settle in his leadership, confidence, and abilities, because that's not something I really expected from him. But his maturity has just, over the last couple of months, has just really increased.
Even thinking back, I mean, we really started, I think, picking up and noticing what he was doing on and off the ball, on and off the field, after the Everton match, because he really made himself quite known.
The Everton match, that moment will forever play in my brain.
It was so passionate and it was so honest, I think. And it's interesting now, even thinking back to that, which I kind of mark as the beginning of seeing Curtis as like caring a lot on the field and seeing a different energy from him. But even that moment now almost feels out of place with the level of maturity that we have seen him. I just think he's grown in his tactfulness and, you know, those interviews, like hearing him speak about the team. So I will always treasure that moment. And I'm like, I even think we're in a new era of Curtis.
I also wonder how much Trent not being on the team anymore kind of has empowered, like, right, like the cheer for Trent, the song for Trent was the Scouser in the team. And so I wonder just if that plays any part where Curtis feels like that is really my role now. Like, you know, I've grown up here, my family's here, my life's here. Like, I understand these people. In his interview with Sky Sports, he talked about, like, I not only cheer for this team because I play on it, but, like, I cheer for this team because I've always loved this team. And he just, you know, gets to own that fully. Like, he really is the Scouse Liverpool representation for the club, which I love. I love to see that. And if we get a Curtis captaincy or vice captaincy, we have Safi as the first or second lady of Liverpool. And what more could
Gigi
we want?
can be the unofficial mascot.
I think we'd see a lot more matchas at the Access Center training coffee bar. I think we're missing the matcha demographic there. Safi would fix that. So
I want Safi to host like a PR night. She's doing skincare with the boys.
She's gonna go and do Labubu unboxings with all of the players for content, just like the social media NFL content creators. Like literally, their admins come up with the best things to go to those teams. Like whether it be random questions, Safi would be the one to do that.
Could be their Keely Jones.
Yeah, we love. So yeah, I love to see it from Curtis. It's so unexpected, but I've loved seeing his growth.
Yes.
It's just so cool to see the ways that different facets of their skills and their personalities kind of take up different spaces in different seasons. I'm curious. We obviously became fans once Virgil, his first year that he was captain. But I would be so curious to have been a fan before. What was Virgil's, personality like on the team? Was he always a person that was he kind of like the Soboslai where you're like, oh yeah, like he clearly is a leader, or was he a little bit more hidden back and came into that? I don't know. I would love to hear from people who kind of watch that happen, but it is just really cool to see those things build over time.
Yeah. And he's only 24. I think, he's just now like in a place where as any 24-year-old would be to like start taking on more responsibilities or more leadership within their workplace. And so it just makes sense. Like the timeline works, but he's been at the club for so long that sometimes I forget he's still learning and still growing and still maturing.
His prefrontal cortex has locked into place. It's important. Pretty much 24 to 25 years is what it takes. So
I didn't realize he was that young.
Me neither.
Forgotten.
And honestly, like because Mo and Andy and Virgil and all these older, like all the senior players who have really played those leadership roles, they're not going to be here for the next couple of years. So it comforts me to know we have someone like Dom and we have someone like Curtis who really, 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 truly care. So and there's just a lot of hope there.
When I begin to consider that like Virgil's 8 years older than Curtis.
That is crazy.
Is that right? Is Virgil 32?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's early 30s.
Wow. Like 8 years is a lot. Like if you think about who will Curtis Jones be in 8 years on the team. Interesting question.
Yeah, it's a lot of time. It's a lot of time to grow and make an impact. So I'm excited. I love seeing this development for him.
I think it'll be good. Very important question. Today, Dominic Soboslai showed up with his man bun yet again.
I was thinking about that.
Is our preference the headband or the man bun? Like, what era are we liking better? Because we loved the headband when it started last season.
I know. I did think about this watching the game because I was like, I'm going to pull some stats on Dom's performance, man bun v headband. Okay. I gotta think.
I don't know why this is so difficult.
I think there are two different things. Like the headband is classy.
Yes.
And that is like classic.
Okay.
Football.
Yes. Headband is giving I'm an athlete, but it's giving I'm an athlete and I'm here and I'm playing a game. And I think he could wear that man bun just about anywhere.
Yeah.
I don't think there's an environment that the man bun would be inappropriate for, and there are environments where he would not wear that headband. So headband, was like, you remember when we first started watching Sobo, and it was like when he was like running in the rain or would get like dirt on his face or something. It was like, oh, you're like an athlete, like you're out there running, and I think the headband gives that energy.
Well, especially when he was clean cut 2 seasons ago, and the rain happened, it created a little bit more of that roughness. But now the rain doesn't make as much of an impact because he already is scruffy.
But do you know what? The headband gives more of the effect when he's like sweaty or it's raining. And I think the man bun gives the effect clean, sweaty, raining. I think the man bun's more universal.
Okay.
Yeah.
A truth universally
If I could only pick one, I have to go man bun.
Yeah, me too.
That's just true to who I am. And I think he's going to continue to grow.
I think it's going to be a full man bun.
Just keep getting better.
Yes. Yeah, that was going to be my next question of being the resident man bun connoisseur. You are known for the man bun lovingness.
For the men with the long
Yes.
hair. We love them.
It was so funny when Coach Amy realized, she really likes guys with man buns. Yes. Got a man bun?
Or just a good long hair. Yes. If you can get it in a man bun, that's great.
Yeah. But are you looking forward to when Dominic Soboslai's hair is long enough to put in a full man bun? Because I love the half up, half down. I love it so much.
No, I love the half up, half down. It's so cute. But no, I'm excited to see him continue to grow it out. This is what I would like to think. And I don't think anyone's surprised where this is going. But I would like to say this is Dominic Soboslai's silent protest on allowing Darwin Nunez to leave the club.
Love that.
He's like, you take my man away. You take the
It's
lad of my life
Simicast,
away.
okay?
I will grow my
Who
hair
man
out.
buns
Listen.
removed from the team.
No. I did think about this watching the game because I was like, I need Annika to pull some stats on
I can.
Dom's performance, man bun v headband. I gotta think.
When I was going through the photos that I have saved of guys from the team for the Harvey and Simicast edit, I ran across pictures of Simicast with his hair down. Oh my gosh.
Peak.
Also, I would like
Darwin
to point
with his hair
out,
down, peak.
I would like to point out, Virgil van Dijk said in an interview last season that if we won the Premier League, that he might show his hair down, and he never did. I don't know if I want to see it.
Will.
Like,
don't think
I just
do.
like, I don't want to
That's the
change
thing
my view of you.
I love about Virgil is he found a look that is so good and he's stuck with it, and
Yeah.
but it's timeless. Like, it looks great.
Yeah.
I don't want him to change it. I'm like, this is perfect.
What is it? Who does the top 10 things? What's that? The interview that people do?
The GQ men's 10
The
essentials.
GQ. Yes. His Virgil van Dijk's GQ.
Oh, I've
and
only consumed a
Essentials.
few of those.
Virgil van Dijk's GQ's men's 10 essentials. I loved it so much. The shoes, the
great.
Nike shoes that I have now are because of that. I had to get Virgil van Dijk Nike shoes.
Good.
The stuff that he considers as essentials are phenomenal. That man is incredible.
He knows style.
Yes, he really
He
does.
is a curator. He is a curator
Yes.
of life, dare I
I
say.
love that. Curation. We have a lot of artists. I would count him as an artist.
Yeah.
Yes.
My other comment about Dom and his hair is I think the headband was such a reaction because it was like the transition from like short sides, cleaned up, gelled to headband was like so dramatic. And once we started the headband journey, I was kind of expecting we were heading this direction. So I like the man bun even more than the headband, but I think I'm not talking about it 24/7 for a few reasons. But one of them is because I kind of saw this coming.
Do we think we're going to, okay, not even that. I'm going to manifest this. I'm excited for the day that Dom shows up in braids.
I know.
Oh my gosh, that will be so
French
Well,
braids.
Rio's braids in
Looks
the
so good.
inside training video looked incredible. Incredible.
Yeah. No, I love the hair journeys. I'm really here for it.
Yeah.
Remember when Ekatike had bleach blonde hair?
I know. Okay, but I do wonder if what I was thinking,
Gakpo. Oh my gosh.
like Disney has like a Disney look for their cast members. I was like, is there a Liverpool look for the players? Because if you look at other teams, I feel like we tend to see a little bit more freedom in how they get to express themselves, and I do feel like our players really stick to like a clean,
Interesting.
like just more kind of clean cut, less expression during the season, and then during the summer they kind of do their thing. And
I wonder if there's like even from the brands or like campaigns or different things like that, if there's any kind of like curious.
After the 80th minute during the Tottenham match, after Richarlison came on and everyone booed him, and then it got like really heated on the pitch. I was thinking back to the Galatasaray match, and I was like, every single person on that pitch had that ugly bleach blonde tipped hair, just like Richarlison. And I was just like, ugh, it is just so icky.
When Cody showed up and when Lucho showed up with blonde hair, I was like, no, because you're reminding me of people who I'm like,
But like they could have it, but it seems like once it grows out, they're like
done.
You're done the rest.
I mean,
of the season.
Hugo cut his off. That was intentional.
I mean,
Which
so did
Hugo's
Lucho last
also-
year.
Hugo also wasn't like, I don't know how to say it, but like his wasn't like the frosted blonde that we saw like Gakpo or Richarlison.
No,
It
his was
like,
bleach blonde. It
was
wasn't
like-
frosted.
But it was also brassy. I'm so sorry, Hugo. It was brassy.
That's why Jeremy had to come in and help him out.
Jeremy is like
Jeremy's like, this is my time.
his golden compass of like if Hugo's doing something and then Jeremy's like, he's like,
literally.
otherwise Hugo's like do your thing, be yourself. Like, notice, like, Frimpong didn't have anything to say about him pulling his pants down today. That was okay. But if you cross the line too far, Frimmy's gonna let you know. It's a good question.
I was just very curious about that. I mean, I really loved the headband because it was so different, and it was like a moment of transition into the current man bun situation. And who knows, we might get a half up, half down man bun with a headband one day.
Whoa.
The opportunities are endless.
On the way to the pub this morning, I was just kind of imagining if, like, the more we succeed with this podcast, like, what it would be like if we got to go and interview someone, like what my dream interview would be. And we've talked about this before. I would just love to sit down with the people in the kitchen at the training center, the baristas at the training center, the trainers themselves, the dietitians, like the unspoken heroes, the unseen heroes. And that is a question that I would want to ask them, Molly-Ann, of like, is there a specific look guideline of here's your expectation? Like in marching band in high school, it was our bar is very high. And in order for us to reach these standards, these are the things that we have to do. And at the time as a kid, I was like, but why do I have to look like that? Why do I have to look the same? It doesn't matter. Like that doesn't impact our performance. And now, like, having lived some more life, I'm like, oh, okay, I see how that really impacts the entire team and the messages and all of that. So yes, it is so much intention, and it does play into how you experience it as a person and how other people experience the team and the brand, especially from the PR side of things. So that would be a really interesting question to ask. Like, I want to talk to the social media team. I want to talk to the photographers, like getting to talk. I would love to get to interview Andy, the official Liverpool photographer. Those are my dreams. So add that to, let me have coffee at the AXA Training Center coffee bar. Let me, like,
we're not asking for much.
Interview
Just
all these
full and
people.
complete access.
Like, sure, I don't really want to interview Virgil van Dijk because I just want to worship at his feet and give him a hug and cry at him and tell him that he's wonderful and he's changed my life for the better. But everyone else, I'm like, please tell me more. Like, I have so many questions and all of that. So everyone wants to interview the players. Like, they're taken care of. We've heard enough from them. Like, let's not bother them anymore. I want to talk to everyone else.
It is such a delicate balance, and I'm sorry, I'm talking about the players, but of a line between like unity and personal expression, right? Where someone like Hugo, who's willing to share his personality, like it's really cool. It's really interesting. It helps you get to know him better, but it feels more individualistic, as long as he's pointing it back to the team and pointing it back to like, these are my teammates, these are the things, the ways that we're lifting each other up, then it really works. But I like it when people are able to like be individual. I don't know. It's my love of the Enneagram 4s, right? Like,
us and our Enneagram references on this episode. Jeremy Frimpong is the Enneagram 7 that Molly-Ann wants to be.
Yeah.
And
so
Cuba Ekatika is the Enneagram 4 I want to be. So there you go.
All right, so this is our last podcast episode pre-Christmas. As we've discussed on this podcast in the past, we all love Ted Lasso. And I think it would be a safe statement to say the Christmas episode of Ted Lasso is one of the most beloved, within the Ted Lasso fan base.
yes.
So I wanted to ask, if you were having Christmas dinner and had a surprise guest appear at your dinner, a la Roy Kent and Keely Jones, showing up, which Liverpool football player would you want to open the door to as an emergency drop-in during your Christmas dinner?
My goodness.
Molly-Ann, do you have an answer for this since you have premeditated this question?
Well, I could go a couple ways, so I was going to let y'all go and then pivot based off of what you wanted to do.
Are they needing my help in the way that Roy and Keely were needing help?
There's no rules. There's no
Okay.
Phoebe needs medicine or you have to tell her that her cat has to leave. Like, we're not going to require you to do that. Just, they appear at Christmas dinner unannounced. You didn't know they were going to be at the door. You open the door. Who's there?
If it's a player and their family, I would like to see Alisson Becker at my door.
I knew you were going to say that.
That was my number
knew it.
one, too.
Because being able to wish Allie's kids a Merry Christmas would make my heart so happy.
The way that I so badly want to meet Natalia.
They are a family I would want to spend Christmas with. So I think they'd be my answer.
As much as I don't want to go the predictable route, I'm going to go Verge. Like, that is another set of kids that I would like love to get to hang out with and meet. And getting to meet Verge's wife and just getting to meet Verge, period, would be really awesome. Like, I might pass out if I open the door and Virgil van Dijk is standing there.
Yeah.
Like the little kid who all the players went to the hospital and the little kid was like, I was really nervous. And then Virgil van Dijk walked in the room and then I was totally fine. I was like, honestly, for me, it would be opposite. Is I would be fine and then Virgil van Dijk would walk in the room and I would be unfine, very unfine.
Oh, I loved that quote from that kid because the idea that a person like Virgil van Dijk, who has so much like legacy, aura, all of it, he could be very intimidating, sets a little kid at ease, makes me think that maybe actually you would be at ease somehow, some way.
Malin, who's your pick?
Do you have an answer?
Okay, well, Allie and Verge were also top,
of course,
for me. Yeah, I think that makes sense. I think so. Now I kind of have to think about it for just a minute. I was like, I did expect someone to say Dominic, so I was surprised.
I thought about it.
I did think about it, but I
don't know.
I feel like it would be so short-lived. And Dom is very protective of like, I mean, they all are very protective of their energy, but Dom, especially when he is not in a comfortable place, we've seen this firsthand where he's like,
we've shared space.
Yes, we have shared the same air as Dominic Szoboszlai. He and I made eye contact multiple times.
In Philadelphia, maybe let's give some context to where we're
sorry.
About. I was like, there are people are going to be listening and be like, these girls are certified insane right now.
And this is before we knew that
correct.
Borka existed too. So we were like, oh my gosh, he's even more beautiful in person than he is on the television screen. But no, he is much more careful with his energy. Only when, at least from what I've observed, he does let go when he's like in situations where he's very comfortable and has a little bit more control. And so I feel like that would be very short-lived. Whereas with Verge, we could connect as humans a little bit more.
Like, I think Allie would want like a hug. Like, I think it'd be like, Christmas.
It's not that he would want to, he'd want a hug. He would want to give hugs. Like, that is exactly what he would offer.
He'd be wearing his scarf and his little like dad golf cap, and that just sounds wonderful. Very sweet. I think he would fit in well with my Christmas dinner and my family.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm going to go. I think this one will be a surprise. I think I'm actually going to go Alexis McAllister.
I thought about him.
After I think it's just the dad effect on the team that kind of like their energy changes after they've had a kid. But watching his barbecue video that he put out last Sunday of like, this is my day off and this is what I'm doing with my family, and like him talking through what he's doing, it was just really sweet. So I think he would be a great surprise guest to drop in, whether it was him, family, whatever. And he's just like kind of awkward but also really funny all at the same time, and I would love his little like laugh that he does. I love that.
So funny.
It's so cute.
It's so
There
good.
was also a video that was released this week where it was a former football player and his son that were from Argentina, and Alexis showed them around and how hospitable he was and how sweet he was to the kid, and he was just like introducing them to all the players and showing them around, and like literally walking down the steps. They walked down the steps up to the coffee bar, and there were a handful of people there. Like, I was like, I cannot imagine what it would be like to be that kid and to walk down there to the coffee bar, our aspiration, and have like 4 of my favorite players sitting there. No, I think Mac would be a great choice. Yes. Again, the dad effect, the VVD effect. It is alive and well. He's really, Alexis McAllister has really like come into his calm self. We still need him. Again, we've talked about this before. I really love when he flails around on the ground now. It's like, that's the only time that we get it. And he's very particular about when he does it. And it usually pays off.
Yeah. Today I was like, go, Mac, go. You sell it. You do it, Mac.
And he did.
Yeah.
He sure did.
Our first season, I was like, this guy. But not anymore.
Well, speaking of him flailing around today, let's talk about the Tottenham match. Happened in London at Tottenham. I was supposed to be at that game. I was literally supposed to be in London. Yep. Sadly, that did not happen, but that's okay. Today was really fun at the pub. We got to be at the pub. Our friend Alexa got to show up for the first time. Got to be reunited with all of our pub friends. It was super cozy. It's just to the point where everyone is off of work now for the season. So the experience was fun. My nervous system, it took a couple of hours for it to even back out again. That was crazy. Molly-Ann, what was your viewing experience?
Yeah, I'm still in Alabama. So I've got Tottenham, I've got the Wolves game, and then I'll be back at the pub in Seattle. So it was just hanging with my fam. So I think probably still stressed, but when like the collective isn't as intense, I felt stressed, but not what I know I would have felt had I been with y'all or, in like a Liverpool group.
Well, and I think it's fair to acknowledge it's a different kind of stress when you already are in the lead and you have the 3 points. So the stress we were feeling was about losing the lead that we already had instead of us needing to produce something. It was like, okay, we just have to hold on to this. Because I think all of us were pretty chill until about the 80th minute.
Yeah, literally, we hit the 80th minute and Taylor was like, I'm not feeling great about this. This is really worrying me. And so we went around to every single person. How are your emotions? Because all of us, we could just feel it building because it was still 2-0 at this point. We could all just kind of start feeling it building. And we were like, this doesn't feel good. And then they scored. And we were like, we were right. We knew that something was going to happen.
Yeah. I was texting with a friend that is a Tottenham fan. And we were just talking about how does this game always end up stressful? And so I just sent him, I was like, please, whatever happens, do not sub on Richarlison. It's stressful. It will be fine. Just not Richarlison. What happens 2 minutes later? Here it comes.
The moment we saw Richarlison's face on the screen, the entire pub erupted in boos. Oh, we are not a booing pub. That is not something that happens often. But me included, immediately, no. Here's the thing about Tottenham. I have been indifferent about them mostly. And then games like this happen and I'm like, ugh, y'all are just blech. But then I really forget about them. Truly, I just forget about Tottenham. Liverpool takes up so much free space in all of their heads. They have this built up issue with our team. It's like this huge rivalry in their heads and all of us are like, okay, fine, whatever. So it's just so interesting going into these matches because we know it is going to be unpredictable. It's so hard to look at this game and kind of analyze it from our performance perspective. We did not play well, and I'm not concerned about it because Liverpool, our players do not do well when they are bullied. And that is exactly what Tottenham did. They didn't stop the ball as much as say a Newcastle or a Crystal Palace where they're just constantly throwing the ball in the air and stopping a lot and just wasting a lot of time. They're just ugly. The things that they were doing to our players intentionally, the kick on Konate, which led to the red card. It was just, that was bad. It just felt slimy and icky. And I can't sit here and say, oh my gosh, that was a terrible performance from Liverpool. I'm glad that we won. It didn't look great, but I will take it with a grain of salt because simply it is Tottenham.
Yeah, I agree. It was physical in a way and in moments it didn't need to be.
Yes.
And again, I think except for the last 10, 15 minutes, if our performance had carried through from beginning to end, I think it would have been not our best, not our worst. I just think the way the last few minutes went down, it kind of was wait, are we bad again? Should we be concerned? And then I just had to remind myself no, I felt totally fine.
Yes.
The majority of the game didn't feel like I felt like the game before, it was like, we have a lot of energy. We definitely showed up differently, but we were in London. We haven't played well in London. We walked out with 3 points. Like, we got the win. It's okay. Come May, no one's going to look back and be like, wow, we really sucked it up at Tottenham. Like, it's going to be just fine.
Going to their stadium always provides a lot of challenges. For some reason, we get rattled there. And especially in the last 10 minutes or so, their fans really showed up and were so loud. And because the confidence is a little bit fragile right now on our side, it's easy for them to get distracted. I think it's harder for them to just really lock in, at least from what I've noticed in our matches.
I mean,
this
it's
season.
once like the other team has shown potential threat, like that goal, I do think that's where it starts to shake a little bit. Without that, I think we could, continue to win. I think that's probably a pretty normal process, so but I will just always struggle with Tottenham because they took Joel Matchup away from me our first season. That was the match he got injured, and I just wish we got more time with him.
He got injured and he got an own goal in that match. Like, awful. Like, so I forgot that was the one that he got injured at. I just knew that he got the own goal.
Yeah. So,
pretty unfortunate.
But I thought there were, again, so many great moments with Flo this match.
Yes.
There was a couple times, there's like one I can visualize in my head where he is like, it's like almost like he's dancing through the Tottenham players, the way he's able to move. And so I loved getting to watch him. I love continuing to see him grow. He got an assist. So like finally he's officially contributed to the goal, even though I think his first own goal was his goal, but it's fine. We left that in the past. So I loved continuing to see Flo's presence and how he's showing up, and he got player of the match. So I think there's lots of great things that come out of this game as well.
And both goals, all of the involvements were from brand new players, all of them.
Oh yeah,
that was incredible, because the first one, it was Isak to Ekatike to Verts to Isak, and then the second one was Frimmy to Hugo. So all four of them were involved, which is great.
Yeah. And Frimmy's back.
Oh,
I'm so thankful.
His energy was exactly what we needed when he came on. Oh my gosh, he was incredible. I'm sad that he couldn't finish the game, but don't even get me started on him bleeding and being elbowed in the face.
I really agree with RNA's comments after the match, where he was like, it's not that Frimpong couldn't have continued playing, but we were not going to play with a man down for 30 seconds. Thank you very much. Very much appreciate that awareness, because even though they only had 10 on the field, and then 9?
We sometimes felt a little outnumbered. I don't understand how, but...
Yeah, I mean, props to Tottenham, because I kept forgetting that they were down a man and then down 2. But that red card, that Xavi, I was so... That was unnecessary. I don't think it was intentional, but that was really... You were nowhere near the ball. That was a red card. Like, that was it. And it was a bummer that it was a Dutch player on a Dutch player.
Yeah.
So.
No, I don't think there was any
Not only
intent.
did you get a red card, but you got a red card on your captain.
Like, no, it's upsetting, I'm sure, for him. Like, it's your captain. It's early in the match. Clearly, it was unnecessary.
From what I've seen of Xavi Simon, like, that is not in his nature. Like, totally unintentional.
He's a sweet
baby. I think
baby
he was
boo.
relieved when it was
really like him.
When he thought it was a yellow, there was like a moment of relief, and then obviously that wasn't going to stand. So
it's like when you see Verge get a handball, and you're like, something just slipped, because there's no way that like what So
it's really interesting thinking back though, when all the players were waiting for the ref to like make the announcement and make the final decision. Xavi was right there. Virgil was nowhere to be found in that situation. When it happened, he got down on the ground and stayed there and didn't fight back. And like, he just was like, I'm going to step back and let them make this decision. But like, his sock was so torn up. It was bad.
That is probably, I wonder if that was out of respect for Xavi. But in a lot, as all situations, it appears in football, could have worked one way, could have worked the other, worked out in our favor this time. We take it in.
We got very lucky in a couple of instances, very, very lucky with a couple of misses and some not great passes from Tottenham. They came in, like, they started the match incredibly energetic, and I was like, it concerned me a little bit, and I was like, oh right, this is Tottenham. They're going to have a lot of holes. Their energy is going to come down. The subs that they made were great because of the types of energy that they were bringing in and the types of skill that they were bringing in. I hate that Richarlison is the one that scored the goal, but him literally getting on top of Ekitike in the goal, and then
I thought it was an accident.
I
I
don't know,
thought
but he
maybe
stayed
him
there.
ending up on top of him was an accident. I did watch it back, and there's like a hand. He sticks his hand like on the back of Ekitike's neck and is like holding it very intentionally, and that's where I was like, dude, come on.
And then him and Dominic, was it Richarlison and Dominic who were like staring at each other? I just am very curious on how Dom ended up with that yellow card and not Richarlison. And then Dom's out for the Wolves game.
Which, terrible, and also maybe best case scenario in terms of twofold. It's the Wolves game, and two, if Sobo needs an extra week of rest, I am all for making sure he has that. And it was coming one way or another.
I said this in the pub. If I were to pick any game of the entire season for Sobo to get a week of rest, it would be the Wolves game.
The timing worked out.
Knowing us, we may regret that. But
yeah. It won't be the first or the last time I issue an apology on this podcast. So.
Truth. We have to say things so we can change our minds later, okay?
Yes.
If you, what is it in Hamilton? If you stand for nothing but, what do you fall for? Okay?
Exactly.
We have opinions and we'll change them.
In terms of like the tension between the teams, I feel like by the end, we looked just tired and over it.
Yeah.
And that's frustrating because we really need those 3 points. And I'm like, dude, push for another 10 or 15 minutes and like, we're going to be fine. But as a person who also like, I don't know, I would let it get the better of me. So I kind of understand. I feel like considering what they were up against, that they handled themselves emotionally pretty well.
Bringing in Trey and bringing in Andy in the 93rd, 94th minute, we needed that because
fresh legs.
Our legs they could not keep up with that ball. Oh my gosh. Literally starting at the 80th minute, I don't know what happened. We could not keep control of the ball. We could not keep control of it. So I'm so grateful for the 3 points. It wasn't pretty, but I'm very grateful for it.
I think Andy and Trey were great subs too, because Andy, we've seen very calm and composed. What I assume, based off of what I've seen from Trey, is he is also a very calm, reactive, emotionally reactive individual. So I thought that was, to sub such a young player on in such a game with such intensity, I think speaks about his character. The other thing that we saw a few times in this match that I really loved, Connor Bradley's slides and slide tackles. I know we've seen them before, but there were just a couple this match that I was
in the first half, he was incredible.
Yeah. So I was like,
I agree.
I just needed to, call that out as one of the things I love seeing.
We had a little conversation about this during the match at the pub, because this is a Summer I Turned Pretty reference. Stephanie was saying that sometimes she wants to call him Conrad, and then I was saying we should call him like 100% Connie Baby when he does his tackles. I was like, yes, 100% your look, Connie Baby. It's great.
That. Somehow on my TikTok algorithm, it's landed in the Connor Bradley fan page edits, and they're so cute. So if you're not on that side of TikTok, I recommend doing whatever you need to do to get your algorithm there, because he's someone, to be honest, I not intentionally but just kind of forget about sometimes. And then I was like, oh no, he's so sweet and a great human, a great friend, teammate. He captains his country's team, so highly recommend finding your algorithmic way over to Connor Bradley TikTok.
Please send me some, because I have an idea of using that's 100% your look, Connie Baby, and literally just showing him slide tackle, slide tackle, slide tackle, slide tackle.
Oh, that's a great idea.
Yes. So that will be done. I'm still learning how to make edits of these players.
still getting into the fan edit sphere.
No one seemed to care about my Dom edit, which I'm very upset about, actually.
It was great.
So kind of disappointed in that. But no,
So funny.
just literally I'm such a millennial, just trying to figure out how to get these videos without watermarks on them. That's all I need to figure out. Okay. But yes, please send me the Connor Bradley edits that you get so I
will.
put something together. Anything else from the Tottenham game?
I don't know. I feel like I lived like a pre 80th minute game and a post 80th minute game, and I have a hard time now remembering what happened when and how I felt and, all the things. The other thing we haven't talked about is Isak's goal, but then subsequent injury. Yeah. Which,
yes.
I had not watched him a lot at Newcastle, but I knew he was pretty injury prone. And and so I hope he's okay. I saw like a clip of Ali afterwards being like, I think he's fine. So hopefully it was like just painful in the moment and he's doing all right.
Seeing him get up and limp off was really good instead of him being taken off on the stretcher. Because when Gio was taken off, because I thought it was his knee and then it looked like his ankle. But when Gio was taken off for his ACL, it was off on the stretcher. And that is never a good sign. Yeah. So, that sequence of passing and that goal, that was beautiful. Oh my gosh, it was gorgeous.
Pretty.
I was really impressed with that. I'm glad that he got that goal. I'm glad that Verts was the assist. I literally turned to everyone at the table and said, well, that was a very expensive goal and assist right there. Like, we got our money's worth. Good job, guys.
Like, let's see that every week, twice a week.
We know that we have it in them. And even just hearing Arne in the post-conference, he was like, I'm watching the team get better. This is what I envisioned. It just takes time. And it's just so hard for them on the PR side of things. Like, he can't just sit there and make excuses all the time because people are like, oh, it's just an excuse. Oh, it's just an excuse. But it takes time for teams to learn how to play together. There was so much change.
Even in, I think it was his pre-match interview, he talked about where he was like, I think I overestimated what this new team was capable of doing and kind of assumed I could put all these people, new players in and it was going to work. And so I think, he's learning too. Like, he wasn't aware of that. Obviously it wasn't working, but now we're getting better.
It's not terrible. It could be better, but we are seeing progress. Okay. People are getting comfortable. Their communication, their creativity is getting there. It was not perfect today. It was really ugly today, but I blame Tottenham more than I blame Liverpool. So, but someone posted the stats from the September 2023 match, and it was like exactly the opposite. So Tottenham won 2-1. We had 2 red cards, and there was an own goal from Matip. But then this time it was we won 2-1. They had 2 red cards. We were all discussing that Tottenham match at the pub today and how angry that was.
Yes. Yeah. It's my soapbox in almost any conversation. I don't even have to be talking about Liverpool, and I'm probably going to bring up that Tottenham game. So
seared into my brain forever. It was literally a month and a half after we started watching.
No, when I meet people at the pub, I will say, were you here for that Tottenham match?
Speaking of Isak, I forgot to say this before. During some of the... Okay, well, I have 2 things to say. During some of the content that we got this week, there is a new friendship that is blossoming. It is an Isak and Ryan Gravenberg friendship.
Oh,
I kept seeing them together and having conversations, and I was like, that is a very safe person for Alexander Isak to start opening up to and really becoming close to. I approve. I think that is really great. So I'm glad to see him. Like, he and Virgil were chit-chatting at the coffee bar, and then they just seem to be very jovial together. And then he and Ryan were together quite a bit. And then the other thing, also, thank you to the social media team at Liverpool for giving us more coffee bar content. Keep it coming. That was incredible. We see that as a Christmas present to us. And we know that we were in your thoughts when that was happening. That was part of the plan. So.
And I was like, Inside Training, we got 2 whole minutes. I watched because I was like, what are we gonna get?
My favorite is that like 4 different people DM'd us and were like, they have coffee bar content. I thought of you. And I'm like, it is an honor that when people see coffee bar content, they think of us. It is
That
part
is
of our
the brand
brand
we're building.
Yes, Alexa literally was like, yeah, that's your brand, guys. Like, that is just part of the Liverpool Girlies. So
We positioned ourselves correctly in the market, okay?
this is what we want to be known for, is being obsessed with not just Liverpool, but the AXA Training Center coffee bar, okay?
Other person who mentioned Ryan, another little friendship insight, was Curtis. In his interview on All Red, he mentioned his relationship with Ryan twice, saying, like, both on the field, but also kind of alluding to a friendship off the field. So I thought that was sweet. Good to see all the different connections. Still holding out for my cheese Curtis friendship. It's hilarious to me now because I've gotten to know both of them a lot more this year, and I don't really see this coming anymore, but
I feel like there's so many barriers that
yes,
if
there's
they
a lot of
become
barriers.
friends, it is truly meant to be long-term, lifelong friendship.
Kirkus became friends with Mo before he became friends with Cheese. And if we remember Cheese swerving Mo, I'm like, okay. I'm
But-
still working through the logistics of how I can get them together.
I think it's just because like they've like friendship treed different ways, but I think that actually personality wise, they are both. I mean, that interview that Chiesa did, where he was just like, "Don't come to my house. No, I don't care. Whatever.
I don't care.
Well, you want to drink a cappuccino at 2 p.m. Whatever." And I was like,
care.
I feel like
Pineapple pizza,
Kirk
don't care.
would respect the straightforwardness. But maybe that's why it doesn't work, because they maybe just both don't care. They're like, "You want to be friends? Don't care." Like,
Yeah, sure, whatever. Yeah, maybe that is it. They're giving too much of the same energy,
Yeah.
and they kind of also, they're giving lone wolves, but in different
they're
ways.
both
Like, Kirkus
giving
is
Black
like,
Cat.
yeah, oh yes,
Where like Dom's the golden retriever, Kirk is Black Cat.
yes.
Mac,
This is a
golden
good point.
retriever, Cheese, Black Cat.
Okay, but did you
Isak,
see
Black
who,
Cat, Gravenberch, golden retriever.
did you see who Mac was getting really friendly with? Frimmy. He and Frimmy were like laughing and joking around. Isn't that so
that's cute.
cute?
Oh yeah,
Like
they
a
were,
lot of it.
No, I'm thinking of Hugo and Mac. Mac was teaching Hugo Spanish.
Yes.
Very different friendship, but
Cute. Ugh.
yeah, it's another piece of Curtis's interviews this week was just talking about how close the team is, and again after recent events and people assuming that they're not, I've just really enjoyed seeing all the love, hearing them talk about it in interviews. Like, they're totally fine.
I
Nothing
just
is
love that
wrong.
Curtis was like, yeah, Mo apologized to all of us and said, I'm sorry that if this affected you. The three of us knew. We all knew it was going to be fine. They were going to kiss and make up. Mo had a really hard time dealing with the emotions that he was having. There's a lot going on. And we see this from Mo. It's not out of character, but it is out of character for the team. And anyway, I had full faith in them. And I'm just glad to see that it is all just kind of calmed down. And they showed up exactly the way that I feel like is appropriate. You know, it is in line with the identity of this team and the whole club. So I'm just so grateful.
We're another week with only one match. Moving forward, we're going to play the Wolves.
I don't want to bring my guard down at all because we
no.
never know how we're showing up on the pitch.
I'm actually fighting so many nerves about this, mostly from a social media lens, because if this game doesn't result with us having 3 points, I'm probably going to have to go offline for a second.
I think that's a great boundary to go ahead and put in place.
Yeah.
And we just
So-
all hold each
Sorry,
other to
no
that.
podcast, no
If you
social
don't hear
media.
from us-
We're logging out.
And not because of any disappointment in my team, honestly, just because I'm sensitive. That's all. So I
But
understand it's
at-
90 minutes, anything can happen, but
It's at Anfield, right?
it is. It is at Anfield. And
We love the
It should be
festive
great.
fixtures. Like, it's
yes,
wonderful.
it's a festive fixture.
Arne did say this week, he was like, having an entire week off is kind of like having a mini preseason, and that is incredible. So I just really like,
that's a good point.
it's literally 3 games in a row where there's not a game midweek. So I'm just,
So nice.
I'm grateful that they have that.
I'm also interested to see, because this will be the first time that we've played Wolves since Diogo's passing.
I didn't
Just
think about that. Oh
How,
my gosh.
you know, does that impact them that day? You know, the whole stadium is kind of in that same place, having a beloved player
Grief.
that's no longer here. And so I'm just, interested. It seems like that's something that they're obviously continuing to process, but maybe like they are further down that journey. But I do wonder if having that game at home changes that. If, are they going to do anything different? Is it going to be like pre-game as usual? So it would be interesting to see how that plays out, and how both teams show up.
Diogo went from Wolves to us, correct?
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay.
In
So it
2020, I believe.
Yeah. So I wonder how much of the team is different. How much of the team played with Diogo? So that's really curious. I feel like that will impact the fans more than it would the team, if the team has a high turnover for that. So yeah, I'm really curious how that's going to go. Molly-Ann, we couldn't really hear the audio. Did they sing? Oh no, they were at Anfield today. So
yeah, at Anfield, I think we've still been singing Jot's song.
Yeah, they have been, but I didn't notice it. If they did, I didn't notice it today.
Okay. Did the Spurs fans sing a lot? Or was that...
It was just booing, to be honest. Like, when the game first started, you could hear the Liverpool supporters singing The Fields of Anfield Road. And, like, there were moments you could really hear Liverpool. If Tottenham was singing, my ears not, like, attuned to those songs. But it was just giving boos. That's all you kept hearing.
Well, that's how we feel about them, too, so...
Yeah, I was like... I do understand, because I don't know to how much they show like the VAR replays. So Xavi's red card, it was really heightened then. I don't think they could see, I don't know, maybe that you'd be like, yeah, like pumped about it. But that's what I feel like it really ramped up, because I just think they couldn't see, and it probably looked soft from, so far away.
Yeah. I will say, watching the highlights again, inside their stadium, they have some really big screens that I wonder if they show the broadcast on. I don't remember the screens at Anfield being that big, but...
No, they're not. There's like one.
Like, I don't even really remember a screen,
Which
to be honest.
Love. The Iron Bowl, Auburn, sorry, jumping sports, Auburn college football, Auburn now has like 2 huge screens. And I feel like everyone's just like staring at screens. And we know my rule is that you need to be grafting for your team. You need to be screaming and not staring at the screens. So I think that's one of the things that makes English football and Anfield like so dangerous, because you're not distracted by technology.
That too.
I grew up in Austin, Texas, and it was a really big deal. I was in college when Darrell K. Royal Stadium, University of Texas's stadium, got their ginormous jumbotron, because they were the first team to get something that big. It was like the biggest jumbotron in the U.S. football realm, and now it's not it's not the biggest anymore. But of course, it's Texas. Everything is bigger in Texas, whatever. But yeah, I kind of like the idea of not having the screens. It does make it confusing, but that's when I would be like watching it on my phone to just be like, what's going on?
Yeah.
I mean, I was up pretty high in Anfield, and I remember feeling like I could understand super well. I was taking footage because I just wanted to have it for my memories, like that I would have it, and I have Lucho's goal on my phone.
I love that you have Lucho's goal.
It's a good atmosphere. I'll be excited to be back at home.
Yeah.
That will feel good.
Yes. Well, we have player of the week. Only one match to look at. But Annika, who is your player this week?
I think my player is someone that we actually did not mention so far. So, other than my Christmas dinner, I forgot. So I have selected Alisson Becker as my player of the week. If we didn't have him, I think we would have been seeing a different result today. And especially that shot that they had in the stoppage time, I think it took my heart 90 minutes to stop having palpitations after that, because, oh my gosh, I think I literally folded over and I was like, thank you, Ali. So yes, Alisson Becker, Merry Christmas. You are welcome at my Christmas table anytime. If you need anything, let me know, but you are also my player of the week.
Incredible. We did get a DM from our fan of the
Alisson
pod.
Becker?
Oh, no, I wish, Fan of the pod, Kendra. Love her so much. It tickles me that after matches, people will DM us and give us their thoughts and opinions and ask us our thoughts
I
and opinions
love
about the
it.
games.
It's so sweet. It makes me so happy.
I love our friends at the pub. I just love being a Liverpool fan. The number of people that this team has brought into my life is just incredible. And I just love talking about it. So I love that people want to talk to us about it. Anyway, she said, I thought Ali dislocated his back for sure on that last save. Hope they find him an ice bath. And then I just imagined Roy Kent going into the ice bath like a brunette Oscar the Grouch. That is what I had in my head. So yes.
I love that.
Go Alisson Becker. Mayan, who is your player of the week?
Mine is Jeremy Frimpong because I'm just so glad he's back. He is the extroverted Enneagram 7 energy that I love and need in my life. And while it felt short-lived, his time on the pitch, I'm just so glad that he is healthy. He's returned. We'll see more of him. Yeah, I love him. So very excited he's back.
Yes. Go for me. My player of the week is Curtis Jones. We already covered all the reasons why, just how much he's maturing and his groundedness and how he's able to control his emotions a little bit more and use them efficiently and well for the good of the team is incredible. His passion is something that I think really led the team through our adversity over the last couple of months. Having him, I think, was really important. And I think he's just that white knight that really isn't recognized enough for his leadership. So he was incredible. So he is my player of the week. Before we wrap up, I did just see a quote from Xavi. He said, mistakes happen. Verge is my captain. I would never intentionally hurt him or anyone. To my Spurs teammates, my manager and fans, I take responsibility. I'm really sorry. I really like him. Marianne, I was telling everyone at the pub today, Sonny left Tottenham and I was like, okay, finally, I can just fully dislike this team because there's no redeeming qualities about them at all whatsoever. And then Xavi Simmons has to come on the team and he's such a precious pea pod and I just adore him. And Taylor was like, I mean, he's Dutch, so of course, like, yeah, you have to give him that. And I was like, yes, he's just so great. So it was,
yes,
I'm glad that he said that. And I wasn't mad at him. I was like, it went in our favor, but.
Tough moments. Sometimes the cookie crumbles that way, huh? The Christmas cookie.
The Christmas cookies we love. Wow. Well, Merry Christmas,
we love
everyone.
the festive fixtures. Yeah. Happy holidays. Hope you're getting to spend time with your loved ones.
All right. Well, that's all for this week's episode. We'll be back here next week. But until then, you'll never walk alone.